Well, hello there folks, how are you? I hope that I find you very well indeed, and welcome back to What's for Tea. And today for you I've got this wonderful chicken, ham and leek pasty recipe. These are absolutely delicious. Like I said, I'm using chicken, ham and leek, but you could really add whatever you want into these. But all of the ingredients I'm using I will leave in the show more box underneath the video. So start off with quite a big frying pan, and then you can add some oil. I'm using olive oil, but use whatever you prefer. To this I'm going to add 1 leek, which I've just sliced. Now you want to cook this for about 5 to 10 minutes on quite a low heat. You know, you really do want to soften this up. You don't want it to burn or get too much colour on it, but you do want it nice and soft, just like this. And then to that I'm going to add some leftover ham. So this is just some cooked shredded ham and also some leftover chicken. So again, this is cooked chicken, so everything is cooked basically, there's no cooking to be done. To that I'm going to add a knob of butter. Just stir that through your ingredients, and by the time the butter has fully melted, everything will be nice and warm. So just keep stirring that round until it's, nicely warmed through. And if you get any big lumps of chicken, do break them up, because you don't want big chunks of chicken in your pasties. Once you're happy, you can add some cream, or you can even use creme fraiche if you prefer. I prefer cream. And then to this I'm going to add a tablespoon of whole grain mustard, but again you can use any mustard you prefer. I just like the texture of the whole grain mustard, with the wee bits in there. I think it's fab. Now to this I'm going to add a wee bit of sage as well, but again you can use tarragon or dill, whatever you prefer. Just some dried herbs of your own choice, and then a wee dash of salt and also some pepper as well, and that's you basically done. All you have to do is give this a good stir and let it sit for, I would say, probably about 5 minutes, and it will start to thicken and reduce, because you don't want too much liquid in this. You don't want it bone dry either, but you will know just by looking at it, but I would give this about 5 minutes, because you don't want this too wet getting into your pastry, or you will just end up with soggy pastry. So something like this is ideal. As you can see, there's still moisture in there, but it's not running all over the place. Then once you're happy, you can just turn your cooker off and let this cool down. You don't need it, you don't obviously need it cold, but you will want it cooled down a good bit so that it goes into your pastry. Your pastry doesn't all disintegrate and melt. So just let that cool for about 10 minutes or so, and then you can turn your attention to your pastry. So I'm going to be using this puff pastry. I am rubbish at puff pastry, plus it takes about a fortnight to make. So this stuff is brilliant. If you're good at your own puff pastry, then go ahead and do that. But I just find this kind of thing a lifesaver. So just roll your pastry out, and then you just want to grab a wee saucer, or even one of those very large cookie cutters that you can get. Just draw around that, and that will give you a perfect circle. Obviously, the bigger the circle, the less pasties you're going to get. So it's really up to you. Then you'll want to beat an egg. This is just for sealing your edges. And then just split your mixture between the amount of pasties that you've got, so you'll know yourself, but don't overstuff them, or these are going to be quite difficult to close. Go around your egg, you go around the edge with your beaten egg with a wee pastry brush or similar, and you just want to flip one half over. Be quite gentle at this stage, just until your pastry stretches all the way over, and then just using your fingers, just seal those two edges together. Just be quite gentle with it, because you don't want it to break. And I was going to be quite cocky and just leave the edge as it was, but I went over the edges with the tines of a fork as well, just to make sure they're well pressed down and well sealed. And you will see that in a wee second. And then once you're happy, you can go over the top with the rest of your beaten egg. This is going to give you a more of a brown, sort of glossier top, but you don't need to do this if you don't want to. And that's you basically done. The last thing I done was pop some poppy seeds on top, but you can use some black onion seeds or even sesame seeds, or just leave them off completely. I just think it looks quite jazzy with the wee black seeds on the top. So as I said, I went round the edges of mine with a fork. As you can see, you want to refrigerate these for about half an hour, just to let them firm up, and you'll be able to pick them up like this, just to arrange them better on your oven tray. I've got quite a small oven tray, so I've just tried to fit mine in where I can, allowing a wee bit of room for growth, because obviously they will puff up. So you want to bake these for between 20 to 30 minutes in the middle of your oven, not too high up your oven, because the higher up the oven your shelf is, you know, the warmer it is, and you don't want them to burn before they're fully warmed through. And you will have something like this at the end. And don't these look wonderful? You can see all those lovely layers of flaky puff pastry. They've gone lovely and golden and glossy on the top, and I just love the you know, the wee freckly the wee freckly seeds on the top. I just think it makes them, you know, a wee bit more special. But these were absolutely delicious, and the filling in there is piping hot, and they're not overfilled, as you can see, because nothing is bursting out. I'm just going to give you a wee side view just to let you see just how deep these are, because you can't really see from the top. And I will cut one through the middle just to let you see what they're like. Now obviously they're all going to be different because they've got different amounts of filling in. Some have got more chicken, some have got more ham, but I will show you just to give you a rough idea. And that pastry was beautiful and flaky. Highly recommended if you can get to an Aldi to get that pastry if you make these kinds of things, because it's probably the nicest pastry, ready-made pastry I have ever had. So yeah, there you go. But just before I leave you, I wanted to say, as usual, a massive thank you to the supporters of the channel over on my Patreon page, to the channel members here on YouTube, and for you all for watching and leaving your lovely comments, and those that share the videos. You know, I'm just so lucky and humbled. So thank you all for watching and for all the lovely things that you do. And I will catch up with you during the week for another wee recipe next week, my wee shopping, unbagging, or whatever else comes my way. So whenever you choose to join me again, remember to look after yourselves. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you off as soon back here on What's for Tea, and I'll just leave you here with some beautiful views of Dunkeld. Bye now.